Alright, Shalom. Of course, I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, who the world ignorantly called God, and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. And I'm just live here from Pennsylvania. Alright, now I want to start off with, go ahead and get Jeremiah, chapter 28. We'll start at verse 8. All right, Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. It says, "The prophets that had been before thee and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries, and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence." All right, so, and that's what we're doing, man. Okay, because right now, we're on the verge of the next world war, man. Okay, so we're just, coming out to warn the people. That's what we're doing, man. Okay, we're warning the people that, if there's bad news, man. And that's not what we're saying. That's what the Holy Scriptures say, man. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to accept it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you gotta look at it at the end of the day, man. Okay? Right? Because I'll give you an example, right? If you keep up with, what's going on over there in Europe right now, man. The nations are getting drawn in, to that battlefield, man. Right? That's exactly what's taking place, man. Hey, look, Russia ain't gonna put up with, America sending that high-tech armory into there, man. All right, and they told them, if you remember back, because they said that yesterday was the 100th day of the war in Ukraine, right? It was exactly 100 days yesterday since they invaded, right? So I was thinking back. Remember what they said when they first invaded, right? They said, "Hey, look, any of you other countries that get involved in this, you're going to be met with serious consequences." Okay? They said you're going to be met with serious consequences. Anybody who gets involved in this invasion is what they said, right? So since then, America sent tens of billions. In fact, didn't they just make a package? I want to say last week, like we'll say, what was it, 40 billion, I believe. Roughly $40 billion after sending over as an aid to Ukraine, man. Okay, so, hey, things are getting real, man. Okay, Russia ain't gonna put up with that, man. All right, and then first of all, America got no business, getting involved with another country's invasion of another country. But what does it have to do with you? Ukraine's not part of NATO, because if it was part of NATO, then they could get involved because of the treaties they have set up there. An attack on one is considered an attack on all, right? So if Ukraine was part of NATO, they'd have every right to get involved in the in the conflict, right? But they're not, right? So yeah, I believe, what is it? Finland and Poland, I believe. Right now, Finland and Poland are trying to get membership into NATO, right? So, that's going to cause a lot of problems, man. Okay, so, they're not gonna put up with that. Okay, so it's only a matter of time now, man. The way that things are looking right now, which we know going by the Holy Scriptures, right? Because all you got to do is read Matthew, the 24th chapter, and everything that who people call Christ, which his real name is Yahweh Shai, which is a black man, right? Jesus is black according to the Holy Bible. And Christianity won't tell you that, all right? But that's what the Holy Book says, right? So everything that we read in the Scriptures, it's now starting to come to pass, man. In fact, almost everybody knows that, who haven't even read the Bible, right? Let me see. It's funny. I came over here yesterday, actually exactly to the area which I'm at right now, because I wanted to engage in a conversation with with a Christian, right? So I came to, I have a church right next to me, and I got one across the street, which is where I'm at. I believe there's like 6 or 7 of them, but only 2 of them were having service yesterday, right? So I came over here to try to see if I could get a Christian to have a conversation with me, right? And bear with me a second. Let me just check the. And I apologize. I'm not going to keep up with the chat much. Um, okay. Oh, I didn't have that. I didn't have it with me, Jay. That's why I don't have my. That's why I don't have my garment on. I don't got it with me at my current location. Um, Otherwise, I would, right? Because I know that's in the scriptures. But still, the word will be edifying, to whoever hears, whether that be on YouTube or whether that be in real life. Okay. And I was also walking through the city over here, and apparently, what is it? It's Pride Month, right? So I was walking through it, and I saw a restaurant. I want to say a couple blocks down, and they had, Happy Pride Month down or something like that, right? So wait a second. I thought that on the back of your American dollar, right? It says in God we trust, right? Right. So how is it? And even the presidents of America, right? When they're inaugurated into the presidency, they have to make an oath, and they have to swear in on the scriptures, right? They have to swear in on the scriptures. All right. So what they do is they totally throw the scriptures to the side, man. And the most ironic part is if you go to court, you gotta swear on the text, but you don't get judged out of what's written in the scriptures. So that's just that's ironic. Let's see. All right, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, and verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Right, so that's the law in the Holy Bible, right? So I thought America was founded upon the laws of the Holy Bible. That's what I thought, right? I mean, were we not taught that? So why is it that they don't judge off of the laws in the Bible? That doesn't make any sense. Right? So as I said, man, it's pure hypocrisy. Which pure hypocrisy, what's going on out here, man? Right? And who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, which is actually a racist black man, by the way. He's about to return and to set things up the right way, man. Okay, who the people call Christ is about to return and to set up his empire on the face of the earth, man. Okay, and the only way that can happen, because you got, which I wanted to ask a Christian yesterday about the whole concept, because they teach, it depends on what denomination, of course, but most of them teach that if you're a righteous person, you'll die and you'll go right to heaven and see sweet Jesus. But if you're an unrighteous person, most of them teach that you'll go straight down the hill, right? As I said, it depends on who you ask, right? Depends on the denomination that you ask, but most of them believe that, right? So I wanted to ask one of them about it, but unfortunately I couldn't find anyone who'd be willing to chat. So I ran up on a pastor right when he got out, and I was like, "Hey man, could you give me 5 minutes of your time? I've been waiting out here 2 hours to try to catch you." And he was like, "Oh, I gotta get somewhere. I gotta get somewhere." So I was like, "Wait a second." And then someone else I ran up on, I waited by the church, right? So when I saw them come out of the church, remember that? I said, "Come out of the church." And it wasn't food pantry day. Remember that? Because that's only one time a month, and usually on Saturday or Sunday, right? So I asked him a question. I was like, "Hey, can I ask you something?" She said, "Sure." So I asked, "Can I ask you a question about the scriptures?" And she nodded, right? So then I asked her, "Okay, well, what's your position on where the wicked go when they die, right?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm not a member of the church and whatnot." So I was like, "Wait a second. So you're at the church, which is not food pantry day or none of that, but you don't believe in the scriptures. And even if you're not a member of the church, don't you still believe in the scriptures? And if you don't, why the hell are you here? You know what I'm saying? That don't make any damn sense. Bear with me a second. You know, so it's hypocrisy, man. Bear with me a second. Excuse the background noise. But yeah, man, you know, I wanted to go into that a little bit, okay? Because they teach that if you're a righteous person, you know, you die and go right to the sweet Jesus in heaven. But that's not according to the Bible. The Bible tells you that both the good and the unrighteous, they both rest together after they pass away. Let's even get a little bit of that. Bear with us 1 second. Okay. All right. You know how you can cut that teaching? It's very easy. And everyone that comes around here, you should already know this scripture, okay? But the Bible tells you that both the unrighteous and the righteous, they both go to the same place after the soul departs from the body, right? So when somebody passes away, and it doesn't matter how it happens, right? Whether they you know, die and rest at night, right? They pass away, have a peaceful death, or, you know, if they lose their life in an accident or something. No matter how it happens, the soul departs from the body and they go back up to the Most High. According to, I want to say, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7, right? And then it also reiterates it in Ecclesiastes, I want to say, 3 and verse 20, right? We'll get it. This is going to what I said in Job. Maybe we'll get the other one instead. Now, in the rest of the chapter, if you read up, I won't get all of it for the sake of time, but if you read up, Job was speaking about how he wished he would have passed away, right, from the womb, and now he goes in to describe the spiritual realm, right? He goes in to describe the spiritual realm. Let's see. I'll go to verse 13. It says, "For now should I have lain still and been quiet, and I should have slept, and then had I been at rest, with kings and with counselors of the earth, which build desolate places for themselves, or princes who had gold, filled their houses with silver, or as an hidden untimely birth I had not been, as the incense which never saw the light. Listen here, there the wicked, they cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners, they rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. The small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master." Here, second. Right, and that's all I need to get on that. But it told you what? This is talking about when a soul departs from the body, right? It goes up to the Most High, and it's speaking about what happens to these people when the soul departs from the body. And it's what? The soul goes up to God, and they're in a state of unconsciousness, right? They're in a state of sleep. That's why I want to say, what is that? John chapter 11, verse 11, which I'll get it. But Christ, when he's speaking of Lazarus, you know, he told the apostles that he's just taking a nap, and they thought, when he said that, oh, yeah, he must just be asleep then. But then Christ says, no, he is dead. So he used the statement of saying somebody is asleep in correlation with somebody being dead, right? And I'll get that. So let me get that. Okay. You'll have to turn the page after this because rest on together. John 11, verse 11. "These things said he, and after that he should say unto them, excuse me, These things said he, and after that he said unto them, our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I might awake him out of sleep. Listen here. It says, then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit, Yahushua spoke with his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking a rest and sleep. Then said Yahushua unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. Right. So that's an example in the Gospels where it's saying that somebody who is sleeping, right? That's like synonymous with death, right? So going by the handful of precepts, we can conclude that when the soul departs from the body, whether you're unrighteous or righteous, you go to the same place. Okay. Oh, matter of fact, here for a second. Let's even get that. I quoted it earlier, but just for the sake of edification, we got to get that. Here for a second. What was that? Bear with me just 1 second while I pull it up. Okay, hold on. Alright, it's just right around the corner. Okay, there we go. Alright, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 20. It says, all go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all return to dust again. Who knows the spirit of a man that goes upward, and the spirit of the beast that goes downward into the earth, right? So the spirit of a man, right, a human, again, that's whether you're righteous or unrighteous, it's speaking of you, right? So the spirit of a man goes upwards towards the Most High, but the spirit of an animal, it goes downward into the earth. So wait a second, I got a question, right? So according to a Christian, right, going by that scripture, does that mean that animals are going down into hell? Because it said that their spirit goes down into the earth. So the last time that I've had a conversation with a Christian, and again, I was raised, with that, so I'm familiar with the doctrine, right? So, last time that I had a conversation with one, they'll tell you that hell's underneath the earth where we're standing, right? Which guys don't know that the earth is flat to begin with, but that's a whole other conversation right there. We're walking upside down, right? That it rains upside down, snows upside down, right? If you dig down, think about how illogical that is. So if you dig down, let's say you come up in China. So if you dig straight down and you come up in China, wouldn't you come up down there, feet side up though? So there's people walking upside down, underneath my feet. That doesn't make any sense, right? But hey, you got to look into that ball earth deception, man, right? Because the earth ain't no spinning globe. That's some bullshit right there, right? And that's clearly in the Bible. What about, because they'll say in the heliocentric model, right? The earth is the one who's in rotation around the sun, right? And then so the earth is in rotation around the sun, right? So in the scriptures, the Most High told the sun and the moon to stand still. So how could the sun and the moon stay still if the earth is the one in motion and the sun is stationary, right? That doesn't make no damn sense. So going by the scriptures, that doctrine is totally blown out of the water, man. Just off of Joshua chapter 10, verse 12, and Psalms 19th chapter, starting from verse 1 on down. Let me see. Let me grab this other one, Ecclesiastes. All right, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 7. It says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Right. So when a person passes away, the spirit departs from the body, and they go right up to the Most High. And again, it's the same. It's the same as Minor God would call it sequence, right? It's the same sequence of events for somebody who is, uh, say, a believer and an unbeliever, right? So nobody's going to heaven when their soul departs from the body. That's not in the Bible, because heaven, according to the scriptures, the kingdom of heaven is going to be built here on the earth. And that Isaiah 60, Revelation 21. So the kingdom of heaven is going to be built on the face of the earth, okay, in the future. Okay, but before that can happen, the empires of the world have to be taken down. Oh, and that's, what is that? I want to say, let me grab that real quick. I believe that's Revelation, the 11th chapter, right? Mine and Golf's favorite chapter, right? Let me see. Okay, Revelation chapter 11. Bear with me a second. Okay, let's start at okay, Revelation chapter 11, verse 12. It says, "And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up into heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And listen here, and in the same hour there was a great earthquake, and a tenth part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And when it says 7,000 in the scriptures, 7. All right, when it says 7,000, that's talking about completion, right? That's what it's talking about. So it's not actually 7,000 individuals. That's not what it means. It says, "And the remnant were affrighted, and they gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe comes quick." Right, because the woes in the Bible, right? The three woes. I believe that's what is that? Revelation 8th chapter. It speaks about that, right? The three woes. But the woes represent the three world wars. Is what the woes represent. So Woe 1 passed, Revelation 9th chapter. World War II passed. What was that? 19. I want to say 1939 to 1945 was the Second World War. And you still have people alive today, who were veterans who served in the Second World War, right? Or just individuals who lived during that time period of history, right? So that's what it means when it says, let me go back to it. That's what it means by when it says it comes quick, right? Because the Most High's perception of time is different from our perception of time, right? If you go to, what is that? If you go to, I want to say, what is that? 1 Peter 3 and 8, for one day with the Most High is 1,000 years, 1,000 years is one day. Right. So in the Most High's perception of time, it's only been a small little while, right? But as far as humans, that's been almost a lifetime, right? Since that event happened. Please check the comment board. We'll see what's going on. Okay. Let me just check the. Okay, we're good. All right. Verse 15. It says, "And the seventh angel sounded, and there was great voices in heaven, saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever." Right. So the kingdoms of the world, what's the world? The world is where we live, right? Right. The physical plane that we call the earth, right? So the kingdoms of this world will be given to Christ, and that hasn't happened yet. Because you got guys out here like, what's that cat? Primal Man and Pastor William Bell, right? Which they call themselves preterists. They believe that Christ returned in the first century, right, in 70 A.D. when the temple was in Jerusalem was taken down by the Romans under Titus, right? So they believe that Christ returned back then, and that basically the 70 AD, that was basically the time of the Great Tribulation, is what they believe, which that's totally nonsense. But that's what they, Primal Man, William Bell, and almost all preterists, I wouldn't say all of them, because there is a difference. You have something called a partial preterist and a full preterist. Partial, they don't believe all things happen. A full preterist believes all things have happened. So it just depends on who you talk to. Okay, just to give that disclaimer. Because I don't want to bear false witness. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. Let me see real quick. I just got to check the camera to make sure it's windy over here today, man. Give it just a second. Okay. Right. So, in order for, as I said, right, for people to go to heaven, but that doesn't happen when you pass away, because the kingdom is going to be built here on the earth in the future. That hasn't happened yet, obviously. Like, contrary to Primal Man, right? Because that guy will tell you that, which I had a debate with him a couple days ago, when I asked him the question, right? Because, look, get this. This guy said that the Christians in Ukraine, think about how ridiculous this is. Primal Man, he said that the people in Ukraine are living in the kingdom of heaven. Isn't that ridiculous? I don't know what the hell this guy is smoking. But that's ridiculous, right? But that's the heresy that's going on, man. And Christ spoke about that. What is it? Matthew the 24th chapter, Mark 13, Luke 21, right? About the signs to look out for the end of the world, which all those signs are taking place right now, by the way. If you go to, what is that, Second Ezra, which the Apocrypha is part of the Bible, by the way. All right, but if you go to Second Ezra chapter, what is that? I want to say 9 and verse 1. It says that when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then you understand that this is the same time where the highest will begin to visit the world. Now somebody might ask, well, what does it mean when it says the highest will begin to visit the world? I'll tell you what that means. If you've been paying attention, you would notice that even on the news, I want to say, maybe a week or two ago, Congress just had the hearing on UFOs, right? Why? Because now the UFO sightings are so frequent that even the government, they got to come out and admit that they do exist, but they don't really know what they are. Which we know what they are. Those are God's chariots, right? The holy angels are inside of those UFOs. And when Christ returns, he's going to return with those UFOs, according to Isaiah, the 66th chapter, the 15th verse. All right? And most of these guys out here, everyone's going to get deceived by that. Why? Because these guys on the internet, right, no matter who you ask, whether it be a religious group, whether it be a conspiracy group, whether it be, most people you asked, right, they'll tell you that it was, Project Bluebeam or, just like military technology, so it's nothing really to be concerned about, right? They'll tell you that, like the Christian doctrine on UFOs, at least most of the people I've talked to, they'll tell you that they're demonic in origin, right? They claim the fallen angels are in them, and that they're going to be like an alien deception in the future, is what they say, which that's totally not true, right? They have already got people deceived. When you see these UFOs, you're going to believe that those are aliens. When in reality, those UFOs, the holy angels are inside of those, man, right? So they got the masses of people already tricked to when they see these things, they're going to be deceived. Okay? So anyone who's been paying attention to what's going on, really within the past couple of years, but even so more now, these sightings are being seen every single day, man, all over the world. Why? Because going back to the scripture I quoted, that when there shall be seen earthquakes and the uproars of the people in the world, then the Most High shall begin to visit the world that he made. Right. So the Most High, right, Yahweh, he's now beginning to visit this world. All right? And that's why all these natural disasters, these events that take place. That's why we're going over. Okay, it's because God's visiting this world, man. Okay, that's why all of these acts of violence are taking place. Well, God's behind that, according to the Bible. Amos chapter 3, verse 6. If there was evil in the city, was God not the one who did it? Right, so the Most High is behind everything that takes place, man. Okay? That's just what it is. Oh, what is that? Job 4 and 7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish being innocent. Right. So nobody passes away out of this world being innocent, man. And that takes you into a topic called reincarnation. And most Christians don't teach about that, but that's clearly in the Bible. A clear indicator of that would be John the Baptist being Elijah. And Christ said it himself, right? Christ said himself that John the Baptist was Elijah, right? Matthew 17:10, right? Now, someone would make an argument and say that, people asked John if he was Elijah, and he said no. So they'd say, well, wait a second. If John the Baptist was Elijah, why would he say that he was not Elijah? Just a second. So there's an answer for that. There's an answer for that. Because that would seem like a contradiction, right? That would seem like a contradiction if John said he's not Elijah, and then Christ said that he is Elijah. That seems like a contradiction. But it's not. And I'm going to explain why. Because if you go to what is that? Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 11. It says that the former things are not remembered. Right. So John the Baptist, he didn't know that he was Elijah. Why? Because his past life was hidden from him. Okay? But yeah, he was Elijah in reincarnation. Okay? Okay, so that's a whole different topic there. You got to get your head around is the subject matter that of reincarnation, right? Because you come back here, man. Right? You come back here. This is where judgment takes place. So it's not talking about no place that people call hell. That doesn't exist. Right? Hell is a misconception. There's no such place as that. All right? Hell in the Bible represents a condition of suffering that takes place on the physical earth that we live in. All right? Bear with me a second. Let's check. Hey, can you guys let me know? Are you able to hear me okay? Because there's something running in the background. I believe it's a leaf blower or something. Y'all can let me know if you can hear me. That'd be appreciated. All right? Let's see. Right. So going back to what I said is that when you die, you go up to the Most High. There's no such thing as in the Christian concept as hell. That doesn't exist. All right? Because judgment, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16, that takes place on the earth. Okay, so judgment takes place on the earth that we live on, man. Okay? That's why people get jacked up down here, man. I saw one guy the other day on the same street I'm at. The guy was paralyzed. It had to be wheeled around. So damn, that's a terrible judgment right there, man. Alright, but God did this, according to the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, what is that? If you go to, let me get there real quick. Let's see. What is that? Matthew, the 10th chapter, I believe? Yeah, 10:28. I'll get that. Please check. Right, so as I said, I want to bring this up. Matthew 10:28. It says, and fear not them which kill the body and are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both the body and the soul in hell. Right. So that's talking about here, man. Okay, that's talking about right here where we're at, man. It'll pass in a second. If someone asks where my fringes are, the reason I don't have them is simply because I wasn't planning on coming here. I was just while I was out, I was able to come, so I wasn't able to get that, unfortunately. But hey, the word still goes out. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, but going by that, right? It says, "Don't fear the average man, but rather fear the Most High, which is able to destroy both the body and the soul." Man. Okay, so yeah, when you deal with that, it's it's very simple what it's talking about, man. Okay, so people, especially our people, right? They got a misconception because they were raised in these churches, man. Okay, so they got a misconception going by scriptures, and that's just what it comes back to at the end of the day, man. Is everyone out here got a misconception about God, right? Tell you that he's an all-loving white man. That's not true. According to the Bible, God is a black man, and He hates most people, man. Okay? Now, God does love. That is certainly true. So we don't want to take that away. Not at all, right? God certainly loves. That is definitely true. Okay? Bear with me a second. What is that? If you go to, I want to say John 15:13, it says, "Greater love has no man than this, that if a man gives his own life for his friends." Right? So that's what Christ did, man. Right? So Christ, why we were all sinners. I want to say, what is that? Romans 5:8, I believe. Right? Christ died for us while we were all yet sinners. Right? So while we didn't believe, right, Christ took upon Himself the sin of us all. And then going by this joker, right? This guy named, what's this cat? Right? Perry and Timothy, right? Over on the channel The Preachers, which are a bunch of they don't know what the hell is going on. They'll tell you, hey, look, just accept Jesus one time, and then you can go do whatever the hell you want. That's not in the Bible. Where the hell does it say that? Christ said, what is that, John 14:15, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Right? So you're supposed to keep the commandments, man. Okay, that at least that's what Christ said. That's not what I'm telling you. All right, Christ said to keep the commandments. Which I'll wrap up over here in a couple minutes. They got a clean run at. But as I said, man, at the end of the day, it's self-evident. Okay, what's going on? Okay, but guys just have everyone got a misconception about the God of the Bible. Okay, Christian Church says they're looking forward to the day of the Lord. Well, wait a second. Amos, let's see if we get that. Here for a second. Oh, yeah, Bar's right. Let me just see. I'm hoping everyone can still hear me. Hey, well, IDL, hey, look, man. Hey, IDL, bro. Right, if you're the chosen people, how about you go tell them other asses they gotta follow the laws, man. Guarantee you they're having pride parades over there right now. Hell out of here. Hell out of here, man. Alright, Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? Is not the day of the Lord darkness and not light? As if a man did flee from the lion and the bear met him, or went into the house and laid his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Should not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light? Even very dark and no brightness in it. So that cuts these guys out here looking forward to the day of the coming of the Lord, man. You guys are cut. Right? Which, hey, look, let me say this. We we are to look forward to Christ returning. That is true. Don't get me mistaken. But as far as the Christian understanding of it, they're going off. We understand it's going to be a dark day, man. Right? We understand that, but Christians don't understand that. Right? So we look forward to the day of the Most High, but the Christians have a misunderstanding of what it means. Okay? I'm going to wrap up over here in just a minute. I might go down the street and set up another one. But yeah, I think I'll call that the video there. Just check. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll end up saying shalom, and I hope the lesson was edifying.